Hello, this is Rita Rue of Creative Artmosphere, and this is Art and Inspiration. And I'm here today introducing a new segment of which the content is based on motivation / inspiration. Now, this is the first episode of the series. That's right, the very first episode of Art and Inspiration. And just to fill you in on what you can expect in today's episode and future episodes, I'll be drawing a caricature while hosting an interview or just letting the guests of the segment say whatever is on their mind or heart to say. Now, don't get nervous when I ask you to pick up a pen and a piece of paper or a magic marker, whatever you have available, and draw along with me. Because guess what? Nobody's going to see this drawing but you, unless you decide to post and share it. Please do. You're never too young and you're never too old to start drawing. So if you'd like, take a second, grab a piece of paper and a pen, and draw along with me. Now, I'm here today with the author of the book titled Beat the Devil Running, Aiko J. Blackmon. Aiko is a dynamic speaker and teacher, and she holds a bachelor's degree in music education from Ashland University. Aiko is happily married to Stephen Nathaniel Blackmon, the author of The Price of Paradise, and the mother of two beautiful daughters, Symphony and Harmony. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the first guest of Art and Inspiration. Oh, and did I fail to mention that she's my sister? This is Aiko J. Blackmon. Hello, Aiko. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. Excited to be here. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am so glad that we actually got this going. It's kind of frustrating when you're trying to figure out technology and just to figure out a format that would allow us to actually come together in video right now is such a relief and a blessing.
Yes, I agree. It is so awesome and we made it and
Yeah,
that's what matters, you know? And
yeah,
sometimes when those difficulties happen, it's because it's pointing you to a new direction, you know? And so I'm so used to doing Facebook Live and that's usually like my go-to. I do a lot of Zoom meetings for my regular work and for other events, but this is the first time I've ever done a Zoom like for this purpose, like especially for hosting a show. And so I think this is so awesome. And I think that this was an innovative moment that neither one of us expected, but it happened and it's awesome. And so we're set on a whole new course.
that's for sure, sister. We learned a lot from the mishaps, and now we're on
That's
the right road, just like you said.
right.
So I'm going to switch cameras here, and we're just going to dig right in. And sister, if you have any type of thought or something, whatever's in your heart to say, please do. And I'm going to just start in with the drawing. I'm going to be doing Bernie Mac. So everybody, if you'd like to draw along, just pick up a piece of paper and a pen, and let's do this. Sister Aiko, over to
All
you.
right. Okay. Well, I am excited again. You know, I'm very excited to be here. And my sister, Trudy, is amazing. I'm so excited because I love, for one, I love your art. And I think it speaks volumes, you know. And so, and what I love is the way that it communicates so transparently and so soulfully. When you look at the things that you put on paper, it emotes the feelings, not just of the person's expression that you're drawing, but it also communicates, Trudy, even what you, the artist, feel about the person. That's how I feel. When I look at your art, I can feel your heart and how you interpreted, you know, that person and drawing them and the experience that you had. So that's amazing. That's powerful. And you know, and so I love that because to me, what that is, that talks about the spirit connection and that to me is so it's very real and I think the spirit connection happens in any way that we allow it to. When I say the spirit, I mean the spirit of God. So
Yes,
to be clear about that, I believe that each human has a spirit, and I believe that in our spirits, you know, that's where the best of us resides. That's where our highest self resides. That's where our highest thought capacity. That's where our highest thought ability, our creativity, the best of our creativity, the best of our minds, the best of our heart, the best of our intentions, that resides in our spirit. So when our spirit is available, when we connect to our, into that place and we connect it with the spirit of God, I believe that's what allows that powerful transfer to take place. And so when we put our gifts in with that, and we allow the spirit of God to connect with us in our spirit and our gift, it then shines through in such a powerful way. And that's why, even with your drawing, like I was saying, how I can look at your drawings and I can sense and feel how you experienced this drawing while you were doing it. Even if I'm not talking to you while I'm looking at it, or even if it's a day like I have a couple of your paintings. I have a beautiful, my favorite Billie Holiday painting in my home. And I also have a most recent drawing that you did of me that I was so honored that you did of me, that each time I look at both of those, I can feel again just the presence of what you were experiencing, or how you interpreted or what you felt about it. And it's interesting because that the same is true though for other art that you see, that I've been to art galleries, I've been to art shows, and I've seen people who have drawn things. And if it's, sometimes you'll get a feeling that the person, whoever drew it, that they intended for you to feel, or maybe they didn't intend for you to feel that way, but you have a feeling of maybe sadness, or you have a feeling of maybe like, oh, this was a little aggressive or a little angry or whatever. And it's not just from the colors and the strokes that they put on the page, but again, I believe that art has the power to speak words, even though it's a drawing on the page. And I believe, again, that's all through that spirit connection. I believe all creativity, the source of it comes through that spirit channel. Now I think it also has the ability for it to come through other channels. And so, when we talk about like the soul, our soul is where our emotions come in, our mind, our will. So there's a cross there. Sometimes it's, from that soul place, and that's not bad. It's just that we have to be mindful that the soul is not always the best of us. Sometimes the soul it can depend on how we're feeling. So we have to be mindful of how we even tap into that and say, okay, well, I realize my emotions are in my soul realm, my mind, my thoughts. So I have to make sure that my mind and thoughts are on point. So for me, as you said, I have my background is in music. So when I sing, or when I write music, or when I play music, I have to be aware of the fact that the best of me is in my spirit, but that gift also crosses through my soul. And I have to make sure that my soul is lining up with my spirit, and my spirit is lining up with God's spirit. And so that's a process. And so I'm again, that I'm talking from that place, because as I'm watching you draw, sister, um I think it's just, again, I think it's an amazing gift. That's what brings us up into a higher place, and it allows us to be who we're supposed to be.
Thank you, sister.
I
Yes.
think it's tremendous that you have the ability to, again, bring from within. Uh,
No, no, I was just listening. I think the connection went in and out a little bit.
okay. Well, I'll keep talking, and hopefully, it'll come back. So, but again, yeah, I was just saying that very much so. I think it's amazing the fact that you're able to put your gift on paper like that, and that transfer is there in terms of, from your spirit and from even your soul. And that it's important that not just in drawing, but in whatever gift we have, if it's music, if it's drawing, if it's dance, if it's any, it doesn't even have to be creative. Even in our daily interactions, how we raise our children, how we interact with our spouses, how we interact with our family members, all of that's important for us to realize that we always have to be in tune to the best of ourselves. Try to make sure that our hearts and our minds are in tune with in the spiritual realm with that of the spirit of God, because that's what brings us up. And sometimes when we go through that process, that's a part of our growth. That's a part of how, we don't always arrive there. We don't always start there and, just kind of, oh, I'm automatically at my best self. That's a process. It takes time, it takes prayer, it takes listening, it takes, learning lessons. It takes being vulnerable. It takes experiences with other people. So there's a lot that goes into that. So yeah, so that's just kind of what was some initial thoughts on my mind. You look like you have something to say.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was just going to interject. I want to go back to what you said a few seconds ago about communicating feelings and emotions, because most people think you can just communicate that through words. But in art, the lines that you use, the colors that you use, and the way you connect the shapes and the organic shapes together, um, that's a form of communication. You don't have to necessarily say it with your mouth. You can actually speak it with these lines and every how you put everything together with the colors. You can create a mood, you can create sadness,
Or
like
you
you
can
said, you can paint happy colors that make people look at something and then they smile. So it's a blessing to be able to communicate in more than one form, not just with your mouth. You don't have to say a word. Sometimes you can just
absolutely. And I think I look at this as a conversation. So it's, that's my style of, anything I pretty much do, I do it from the intent anyway of having that conversation that, you know, in giving my thoughts and also hearing and listening. So anytime you want to say something, sister, just jump in. Just jump in. It is not doesn't have to be a, whatever, any kind of, there is no, we don't have a rule. It's just jump in. And if, as soon as I hear you, I'm gonna be like, yes, go ahead, go ahead. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the communication is really awesome. And what's really interesting to me, sister, is right now in this hour, while we are in this particular, season of quarantine and not being as accessible to each other face to face, not just you and I, but even just across the world, we're finding that communication is having to be figured out differently. And so it's very important that, again, that we tap into that best part of ourselves as much as possible to bring forth the intention of our communication. It makes me a lot more mindful about what I say, how I say it, what my intentions are. I spend a lot more time in quiet. I spend a lot more time in meditation and prayer. I spend a lot more time. And when I say that, I don't mean it to sound like, oh, I pray so much. It's about, though, it's not about really trying to be, oh, I'm so great. It's about, well, it is trying about about trying to be great, but it's about becoming better. For me, when I say prayer and I say quiet time and I say meditation, it's so that I can become better at my words and just my intentions, what my thoughts are. It's making me more mindful of, the fact that when I communicate with somebody through a video chat or through Zoom, that I have to be really aware of the fact that, the way you come across may be a little bit different than if you're face to face. So you have to make special care to be thoughtful and to be intentional about emoting the correct things and really bringing it across so that you use that cherished time that you have, that you're communicating with people, to really bring forth, again, the best of yourself and the best of your intentions of what you want them to know. So, and I think that's really interesting. Communication is really changing. Even like we learned this today about, well, we tried these different formats of getting on and figuring this video thing out. It didn't work, but we eventually, through the process of continuing to figure it out and work together, we ended up with Zoom. And this is the way we were supposed to go. But even in that, again, it's a mindful, thoughtful process that, and I think that right now, that's just what's happening, not just with video chats and things like that, but even in our daily lives, we're having to make adjustments. We're
that's
having to figure things out differently.
hmm I agree totally.
And sometimes that means a change in our patterns. Sometimes, and I love that though, because I tell you what, sister, it has made your girl, wow, I have had to change, and it has exposed some of my ways, some of my mindsets that are, again, not out of a bad place, not out of bad intention, but okay, but maybe still needs to be done better. How can I be a better service to my children? How can I be a better service to my husband? How can I be a better service to myself? What am I doing that, that's gonna, make me better, even physically. Recently I've been reevaluating my eating, going back through and saying, well, that worked a year ago and I was doing fine. Well, what's going on now? The body is responding differently, and I think all of this is tied together. I really do. And I think it's not the easiest process all the time, because again, you don't have access the way that we used to. Even a year ago, everything was so open and accessible, and now you have to think through every single step you make. Yesterday my husband and I, we went out and we just drove, and we thought, oh, we saw an outdoor outlet mall. And we thought, oh, well, it's outdoor, and it's not as closed in like a mall, like a regular mall. So we'll kind of maybe get out and go to a couple of stores. But just the experience of that, it was like, oh my gosh, it was really interesting, because it showed us quickly, for one, we were not going to do that. We changed our plans real we got back in the vehicle and we kept driving, and we had our masks on and everything, but it was just, again, the atmosphere is different. And so we've adjusted to, now I'm much more likely to, I have my little spots. I can go to Walmart as needed, I can go to Kroger or whatever as needed for essential stuff. But as far as just kind of being out there, it's a different time, and so it brings us to the place that, although that's not easy, again, it's kind of that you feel like something's being taken away. But for me, what it has allowed me to realize is that when I feel like something is being taken from me, I try not to stay in that place. I try to go past that and say, okay, but if it is, why? Is what's being trying to be given, because something is trying to be given to me. It's not just to take it away because, oh, I'm just, now that's it. You don't get anything else. Now now it's just like you're stripped of something. No, something is trying to be replaced. And often the thing that's trying to be replaced in what I had before is often better, because it just fits better with what is currently supposed to be happening in my life or in the world around me. And it makes me have to adjust.
Right, right. I totally agree.
So yeah, I just and so anyway, so it was very interesting. So we went to yesterday, and I use that as an example, because I like, most of the time throughout the week I stay in the house. I'm not going anywhere. So I'll go out like about once a week, and that's usually on the weekend, and it's usually in the daytime, and I have very few places that I'll get out and go. Again, those essential places. And then we stopped. There was this one place though that we went, and that's where I got this necklace that I'm sporting today. Woohoo!
Beautiful, beautiful.
My thank you. I love bull riding, and I love Western wear and that type of thing. And so this was at a store in I think the city is called Locust Grove, where we live in Georgia, and it's about maybe 20 minutes north of Macon. I think about 20-30 minutes, maybe somewhere in there. But anyway, the store is called Horsetown, and they sell a lot of mostly all Western themed, clothing, boots, all kinds of stuff, jewelry. So we went there, and Stephen bought me this necklace, and I'm just in love with it. So anyway, but we were out, and even that experience was different, because last year, we've gone there many years, but last year we were able to be there, just kind of hang out and walk around the store and everything. And it was just so different. But I said, you know what? It's just an adjustment in the process. And so, although I use that example, that applies to so many areas. And I think, though, if we embrace things in a positive way, if we try to put our best selves, even in change, even in times of adjustment, even when we don't get exactly what we want or what we thought we wanted, if we allow our best selves to remain present, or we tap into our best selves, even when we're feeling frustrated or that type of thing, because negative emotions will come. And that's just a fact. I mean, we're human, but it's what you do with that. And it's how you work through it, and it's how you process it. And to me, that's where you grow. That's your spiritual growth. That's your deliverance process. That's your mindset. That's how you shift and go higher. That's how you elevate. And so there's a scripture that talks about going from faith to faith and glory to glory. And when we think about, for me, faith to faith, glory to glory, I naturally think up. I naturally think that's like a going up higher step,
Mhm.
or each place elevating. And so to do that though, it's again, it's a process and it requires a lot of us. It requires for us to be willing to, just kind of recognize where things are needed to adjust. And so that's, yeah, that's really where I'm at, sister, but
I
it's a
think,
day journey.
yeah, I thank you so much for expressing that. Let me switch camera views here.
Wow,
I
that is
had
beautiful.
something that I wanted to kind of share with along those lines of a deliverance. It is not a major, nothing major or anything like that, but it's just as simple as playing a video game on my phone. It's called Cloud Bubble, and I think, I played is anytime I had free time to play this video game, I play it. Whether I was in the, in the restroom, I take it with me. That's the majority of the time that I got to play this game. This is my, what they call it, your thinking time or whatever. But yeah, Cloud Bubble was the name of the game that I seem to be addicted to. I just love that little game. And I got stuck on level 31. And for days in and days out, I tried to get past level 31. With determination and focus, I was trying to get past level 31. And when I did, it was like, yes, I got past level 31. But then it was like, oh, okay, so, what do you win? Nothing. So I thought about it. I'm saying, I got myself all worked up about getting past level 31. What if I actually put this type of energy into my goals and achieving the things that I wanted to achieve instead of a game? There's nothing that I would not be able to accomplish if I went after my goals the way I went after getting past level 31. So I had to put the game down and just refocus on things in my life that I felt like I could give that focus and determination to. So, that became, I guess, a moment of deliverance for me. I guess. But yeah, that's my little contribution to deliverance. I don't play that game as much anymore, but it was definitely the thing that had me was level 31. And then if it's not level 31, then it becomes level 32. So enough is enough at some point. Put the energy somewhere else, somewhere positive, somewhere where it can help someone else along the way. So yeah, sister, that's all I wanted to say on that. And
I love it. Yeah, I love it, sister. Where you place your energy, that right there, sister. Woo, honey, let me tell you,
and
that is a deliverance because you can, and sometimes because those little games, a lot of times what I found is that there are times that your brain just needs the space to just kind of release.
yeah,
You're working, you're doing a bunch of stuff, and sometimes your brain just needs a little space to just say, okay, and sometimes it's that little game. It's either cloud bubbles, or for me, I have a little game where it's like a cooking game. And
okay,
the little girl, she's running back and forth, getting the different dishes and making them and stuff. And yep, sometimes I just need like 10 minutes to sit there and play that game just to get my brain to release from stress or whatever else. However, like you said, it does make you say, okay, but you know what? There's other ways that I can also relieve stress. So I can get back into some of my stretching exercises I
right,
used to do. I can go and write for 10 minutes
yes,
and relieve some stress. I
yes,
can do a live video or, and talk because that's a part of, what the work that I'm called to do. So yes, I agree. Investing your energy, even though it's nothing, I don't think there's anything wrong. Those little games are fun,
oh yeah,
but it cannot be the total thing that you use to take. Okay, this is my only place of stress reliever. This is what I gotta go to. No, There's other ways that you can use that energy that even when you're stressed, it will seem, you'll be able to put it in a place that's both productive, but that will also, even in doing it, it's if it's the passion that you have in your gift, it's often not work. It's usually something
Right.
that will still
Right.
lift you up, and you're like, oh man, I sometimes the prospect of doing it, like, well, I can, instead of playing this game for 10 minutes, I could write for 10 minutes. But then you're like, but that's like, I gotta work. No, it's not work, because that's your gift, that's your passion. So
Mhm.
same thing, like with you, it might be doing these videos, or it might be drawing or anything like that, that you invest that same amount of time in, and you find that you get even more of a release in your mind, and you get growth, and even more benefits because you invested that time so wisely.
Now, that's very true because when I'm doing my art, when I really get into it, so much time flies, it flies so fast. And I look up and maybe 2 or 3 hours has went by, but the time that I spent has been very productive time. It's not time wasted because I can actually see where I've made progress and went that much closer to finishing a drawing or whatever the case may be. With me, we're talking about art and things like that, and me just getting back into uh, art and actually making videos like this. This is my first art and inspiration video, episode 1. So I look forward to doing more episodes down the line and would love to have you back on again, sister. I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here today.
Well, it's my pleasure. I am honored to be your first guest for this segment of this part of the videos that you're doing. I'm always inspired to watch your other drawing channel, the videos that you do for just when you're drawing and playing the music. I love that. It's so relaxing. I love the music that you play, and just even hearing your voice sometimes as you'll speak and talk a little bit about what you're doing. It's very inspirational. It's awesome to watch because your gift is so just amazing. It's so powerful to see that you're able to just channel that genius, that artistic genius that you have. Yes, it is
Glory
God.
to God.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Yes, it is most definitely from God, but it is through you. And so to God be the glory, but it's definitely, to God be the glory for the things he is doing through you, and what you're allowing God to do, because sometimes that's also, whether or not the glory of God is always going to be a part of the earth, but it comes through vessels. The
Yes.
scripture says we have this treasure in earthen vessels. And so when we put that we have the opportunity. It's always a choice whether or not we're gonna let God's glory shine through us. So again, I'm just honored to be here, and I'm glad that I see the glory of God shining through you. I'm glad to see the things that you are putting into place, like your drawings, and even this. This is another part of the journey, So I'm excited. Hopefully, like I said, I'll be glad to come back and just be a part in any way possible. And even when I'm not a guest, I'll be watching.
Thank you so much, sister. I'm going to just take 1 minute to do a shameless plug here. I think you know what it is. You heard it before. It's just a little plug here. So everybody sit back and relax. Just tune in your ears 1 second. Tired of looking at regular old photos? Let Creative Artmosphere draw that photo as a fun caricature. Our artist Rita Rue is a warm and friendly creative that draws caricatures across America. Create a memory that will bring smiles and laughter for years to come. Creative Artmosphere can draw from photos submitted via email. To inquire about pricing, send a message to creativeartmosphere1 at gmail or on social media by message to Facebook at Creative Artmosphere. Also, you can send a direct message on Instagram to creative_artmosphere. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Creative Artmosphere and head over to Facebook and give the Creative Artmosphere page a like. Let us create a lasting memory for you and your family. I'm Rita Rue, back with Michael J. Blackmon, the author of Beat the Devil Running. Thank you so much for giving of your time and your knowledge and for blessing us with the inspiration to take something with us for the week ahead. Thank you, sister. Any last parting words?
Well, I do, but I also was wondering about your drawing. How did it
Oh yeah,
turn out?
yeah,
Can
yeah,
we
yeah.
see? Now,
Oh,
what I'm going to do is I want to share my screen because, or not my screen, but I'm going to show on my camera here. I'm going to change my view and I'm going to hold up this picture. Can you see that?
oh yeah, yeah.
And that is the picture that you drew of me because I want everybody also to see the caricature that Trudy did of or creative atmosphere. This is amazing, and this is a gift that for my birthday this year that my sister did, and but it is absolutely amazing, and I just love this. I'm actually I'm shopping for a frame, and like I said, I don't get out as often as I would like, so I've kind of been limited in time. But I'm still looking. But I'm about to find the right frame so I can put it up in my workspace nearby my work desk. So I just wanted to show that, and then like I said, I'm just very appreciative that you gave me, would have me on to be with you today. It's always a pleasure. You're my sister and I love you.
I love
But
you too,
even
sister.
just thank you. But even in just the work of this that you're doing, I honor that. And I think it's so phenomenal and so useful. So please continue to do that. Be encouraged, sister, and great things are on the way for you.
Thank you so
And
much,
me
sister. That's right. That's right, sister. Oh, and
too.
let me hold on one second while we're at it. Where's my here we go. Beat the devil
Oh,
running.
thank you.
If you don't have a
Awesome.
copy, you have got to go out and get a copy of Beat the Devil Running by Iko J. Blackman. It'll
Yes.
bless you.
Thank
It'll
you,
bless you.
sister. And they can order it on Amazon too. So if you look me up on Amazon.com, Iko J Blackman, IKO, then the letter J, BLACKMON,
Yes.
you'll find me, and I'll be running, and you can order a copy online.
All right. Well, this has been Rita Rue and Iko J. Blackman. And this segment is Art and Inspiration. And it was our very first episode. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, bye for now.
Bye.